Did I make this video purely so I could title it X-Men Movie Review? Yes. Yes, I did. Welcome back to Halloween in the Middle, everybody. Today we are talking about two movies that came out this year, X and Men. I have had this idea in my brain since both these movies came out, and I was not able to do it until now, but it is perfect because it is Halloween. But yes, the fact that it is X and Men, it's right, come on, it's right there. But honestly, it's not a bad pairing because they did both come out within just a few months of each other, and they kind of have the same, they're definitely not the same, but they have the same sort of like feel and tone and plot of these people going to some backwoods area or some secluded place and then being followed or tracked down by some creepy people who are there. Now, will I be talking about all the other horror movies I have not reviewed from this year? Yes, actually I will be. Thank you for asking. I will be doing in December a live stream. This is the first time I've thought to do this, and I think I'm going to be doing it for the foreseeable future of the channel. Is I have been trying my best to review every movie that I can that comes out this year. There are a lot. So, all the ones that I wanted to see and did finally get to see but did not get to review, I will be doing a live stream at the end of each year where I will talk about those movies, and then in between me doing the reviews, you can ask me any questions. So start thinking of questions that you want to ask me, and then between those, I will be talking about all these other movies, specifically things like The Black Phone or Top Gun Maverick that I did not get to review on the channel. But anyway, let's get into talking about these movies because I have a lot of thoughts on them. Firstly, we are talking about X. X is a movie about a crew of adult film filmmakers who find themselves in danger on their set, a backwoods farm owned by a creepy old couple. It stars Mia Goth, Jenna Ortega, Brittany Snow, and Kid Cudi. So starting off with the highs, this is the first thing I have actually seen Ty West direct. I don't think this is nearly his first movie, but it is the first one I think that has gotten super big like this. And actually now we have Pearl that just came out as well, and it was really interesting to me that they came out kind of back to back like that in the same year because it's like, you know, Irish twin movies. But I think what happened was maybe X got pushed because of COVID, and then they had Pearl just about ready to go, so they were like back to back. But now I hear that they're going to be doing Maxine, which will come out next year. So the fact that all three of these movies have come out within a year and a half of each other, just about, and two of them, the first two, are already really, really good, that's hard to do. But his directing in this is phenomenal. There are so many cool shots I have never seen before. There was a lot of, you can tell that he is just a horror fan, like a classic horror movie fan, because this is really like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Friday the 13th, but modernized with, you know, more like deeper themes to them. But it also kind of has like in one shot or like one scene reference to The Shining or a reference to Halloween. So it was really cool seeing these things in something that's just so well made, but he was able to slip those homages in there. And the pacing in this movie is so well done. It is not one that's got a lot of twists or anything. It's just a straightforward movie, but the pacing is so good because honestly, you kind of can see where some things are going, but it's still just what's going to happen. And what happens is so creepy. There are so many things that are like quiet and very, I don't know if I'm going to say disturbing. Some of them are disturbing. Some of them are just like, ooh. Don't watch this with your parents. The acting too was just also very, very well done, pretty much from everybody. There was a wide variety of different characters, and some of them were really funny. Some of them were like Mia Goth was just amazing. And the fact that she is also now in Pearl, she's become like the up and coming horror actress everyone's talking about, which is funny considering Jenna Ortega is also in this movie, and my God, has she had a year. She was in Scream, she was in this, and now she's going to be in the Wednesday Addams show on Netflix. She has had quite the year. But yeah, Mia Goth was incredible. I'm really excited to see her in Pearl, just to see what more she does. And there is something that, if you haven't seen this movie yet, there is kind of a hidden secret about Mia Goth's performance that once you learn it, you're going to be like, wow, she was even more amazing after learning that. But I am really excited to see what she does in Pearl as well. My only low is that there is obviously this couple, the old man and the old woman, and their husband and wife. And in the trailer, obviously they're like something is up with her. She gets confused. She's creepy. Something is happening at nighttime with her. And obviously, I'm not going to say what it is if you still haven't seen it yet. But while that was amazing because she was creepy as hell, the husband just what his role was in the story and his motivations in conjunction with her confused me a little bit. There's a very basic theme here about generational stuff, I'll say broadly, but what he was trying to do and not do, I don't know. When I was watching the movie, it was a little muddled for me. Even after going back and seeing an ending explained video, which I normally don't do before I review movies because I want to go into them reviewing them fresh without anybody else's thoughts in my mind. But for this one, I did because I thought there's just one little thing I'm missing and it's just going to make the whole thing perfect. And after seeing a couple of those videos, I still think that it's one of those things where if you explain it a lot, sure, the character makes sense after that. But if I don't get that coming across in the movie, even after a lot of thought, I feel like it's not as well defined. And maybe that's just me. It's just a personal take. Because maybe it came across fine for other people, but it doesn't quite make sense to me. It's like almost there. So it's not a huge low, but it did take away a little bit, just a tiny bit for me. So overall, X is amazing. I was so excited to see this one because I had heard such good things, and I was not disappointed one bit. Oh my god, this was creepy. It was easy to follow, which is not always the case with A24, which I'll get to in a second. But this one, besides that one thing with the husband character, honestly, this movie was just about perfect. It was just a straight up homage to old horror movies, like within the 70s. They had like all the shots were kind of like reminded me of those 70s movies with the really long telephoto zooms and stuff like that. So I think this was a really fun movie, and I'm very excited to see what Pearl has and what Maxine is going to do. I'm going to give X a 3.5 out of 4. Moving right along onto Men. Men follows a woman recovering from a tragedy as she retreats to the countryside to heal, but quickly encounters very strange men that all look alike. It stars Jessie Buckley, Rory Kinnear, and Paapa Esseidu. Okay, kind of like X, this movie is creepy as fuck. There is a lot of stuff that goes on that is just so eerie, and Alex Garland directed this movie, and you can tell because it just has that kind of quietly creepy, disturbing feel to it like Ex Machina did. I have yet to see Annihilation. It's a crime, I know, but I did see Ex Machina, and it is one of my favorite movies. Alex Garland did an amazing job with that one. And I think directing-wise, he did a pretty good job with this one as well. There's just a lot of moments that, like, even if the story isn't always there for me in a horror movie, if there are moments where I'm like, that was creepy, and I've never seen something like that before, I'm still going to praise it for that, because it's hard to find that nowadays that isn't just a jump scare or something that we've seen before. And like other Alex Garland movies, it is shot very well, and the color scheme for it is just awesome. It's just a lot of like reds and greens, and then specifically in one type of flashback scene, there's an orange everywhere. It just was really beautiful to look at, but also gave like a little bit of like a contrast depending on what was going on. Like if it was green, it seemed a little more serene. If it was red, there was a lot more agitation going on, things like that. Going along with the shots, the symbolism in the story, there was a lot of interesting ideas, a lot of cool symbols, things that you can pick up on. And I just eat that up, like in Jordan Peele movies or Ari Aster movies even. There's just a lot of symbolism sometimes, and I really think that's cool. I love that stuff to try to figure out what it means. Whether or not it always works to the story, I'll get to in a moment. Finally, and probably most impressively, the acting. Rory Kinnear acts his ass off in this, and kind of like James McAvoy, in Split, he plays a ton of different people because he is all of these men, and I think he did a really great job with that, because again, if I can watch an actor play multiple people, but definitely feel like they are different people, even if I see the same face on them, yeah, you're good. And Jessie Buckley was just as good. She did a really good job with the quiet moments as well as the freak out moments. There wasn't anything super special, I would say, about the writing of her character, but for what she was given, I think she did a good job. My middle is a very big one. which will tie into the lows a little bit, but the middle aspect is the metaphor. It's very painfully obvious what the metaphor is. It's literally called men. Like, we know what it's going to be about even before we see it. It's going to be about this idea that every man to a woman is not every man, but is terrifying, is somebody to have to watch out for, and basically they're all the same. Like Rory Kinnear is every character in this one, and I'm not going to say that that's like a terrible metaphor or idea, because it's it's true. The thing is, I can't even have an opinion on that, but I'm fully in support of having movies like that. That's fine. It's just one of those things where it's like it didn't really say much new, or at least much new that I could take from it, because it gets a little weird and abstract. But from what was there, it kind of reminds me of like a Don't Worry Darling situation, in terms of there's nothing new to say, but this was an interesting idea to symbolize that concept. You know what I mean? Yeah, a lot of people are going to have problems with it, specifically probably men, for saying that it's very generalized. But like, I don't know. That honestly, that goes into that whole like not all men reply to every comment like this. Is, yeah, not all men, but that's obvious. That's not the point. The point is that you don't know which men. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, a lot of people are going to be like, it's a little it's very on the nose, and it wasn't necessary. I don't know. I think the metaphor's fine. It's just that it doesn't really say much new. But I will say, whether or not it's new, it doesn't make it any less scary. And I'm a guy. Like, I don't have to worry about that shit. But it still terrified me. So I can't even imagine what it's like to be a woman. So the lows, however, get into where the metaphor goes, which I said it's nothing new, but that's because anything that was new, I had no thoughts as to what it meant. There is a scene, for those of you who've already seen this, you know what I'm talking about. There is a scene that happens towards the end of this movie. You will know it when you see it. You're going to think you know what it is, but you're going to know what it is when you see it. No clue. I don't know. I don't know. It was very abstract, and that is not the first thing in this movie to be kind of abstract. There was a lot of symbolism to Adam and Eve, for sure, but a lot of this does not explain why this is going on. And you guys know me, I need to know, yes, there can be abstract stuff, but it was just abstract, and then it ended. And I don't know, it just doesn't really explain. There was definitely some supernatural element going on here, but I thought we would get a little bit of an explanation as to why, but no, it was very, very abstract. And after seeing one or two of the ending explains, which again, I normally don't watch, but I did for this one too, just because it was so odd. I had no idea what to think of it, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just completely missing something. Alex Garland apparently said that he wanted to write something where the audience was just as involved as the filmmakers, and that they can put their own conclusions to it, which I'm not really sure if that's the best way to make a movie. I mean, it's definitely interesting, but like, I don't know, then what are you saying? I don't know. It's like, is it just lazy or is it smart? I'm not sure. But definitely put down in the comments below if you have seen that scene without spoiling things. What did you think? Because I was talking to a couple of friends actually about it, and we were all in agreement about we could have done without like 4 more of those things. So overall, Men is a very interesting movie. It is very on the nose, but honestly, the fact that it's so obvious going into it, it's not like it's even a disappointment, because we knew it was going to be about that. I just kind of wanted to see where it went, and it is slightly disappointing, but it was still very creepy. I don't think I had as much of a problem with it as other people, but that's because I'm like, if I block out the last 20 minutes from my brain forever, the rest of it's fine. It's not anything that blew me away, but it's fine. It was kind of underwhelming. But, it is just another instance in which we can see what women deal with every day in terms of having to be on the lookout 24/7 for people who are going to hurt them emotionally or physically or otherwise. So I'm going to give Men a 3 out of 4. Wow, it's really gloomy out today, guys, and I mean, I guess that's great for the video, but boy, it's dark. Well, guys, let me know what you thought of X and of Men. Let me know what you thought of Pearl if you saw it. I'm very excited to watch that, and I will probably talk about it at the end of the year now that I've seen X. And, just be a good person, I guess. I guess if you come out of anything with these two movies, it's just be a good person and just just don't harm or murder people. And as always, keep your hopes high, your stress low, and Halloween right in the middle. I'll see you guys later.